the brain press, aka work, the parking lot. And you have this nice steady wind blowing, and it's about, you can feel that chill in the air. It's funny, earlier this week it was like spring, the one day, and now here we are back to, fall conditions. But that's Ohio. That's the way it's always been. The only difference between this winter and any other winter we've had before is I really don't miss the days when we were butt deep in snow and having to drive in that to work and things like that. So bring it on, kids, because bring it on, Mother Nature. Okay, now a lot of people are going, Dr. Freedom, that's a clickbait title. That can't be true. And it's like, it is true. I was catching some bits of the Radio Free Scaro podcast where they interviewed Chris Chibnall. And he once again, for the how manyth time, reiterated the story a little bit of how, Jody got the job. Everybody just seemed to think that, Jody, made a phone call and says, I want to be the doctor, and then bam, it was history. She had to audition like everybody else. They sent her a thing. They sent a whole bunch of people, a script. Basically gave them the idea of, how would the doctor defuse a bomb or something like that. And Jody sent in her version, and she got the job. No mystery, no pageantry, no top secret, handshakes. That's how it worked. I know there's people going crazy lately because, when they mentioned they were, interviewing all kinds of other people for the next doctor. And, we landed, of course, with Ncuti Gatwa, who I'm looking forward to seeing in the role coming up. And of course, you're going to have the usual guys going diversity hire, yada, yada, yada. But like I said, you got to give everybody a chance who steps into that role. But let's get back to the Chibs. Okay, Chibs said it was touch and go there for a while, but flux did nearly not happen. And that's because the BBC did want to shut down production for COVID. And it's originally like someone tickled my memory bone. I think it was Mark Mangan did. That Flux was supposed to be 10 episodes. And Chibs, went in and said, look, no, we can do this, we can do this, we can, as long as we follow the guidelines, we can do this. So they finally sat down and we wound up with Flux being 6 episodes, which explains why, everybody thought things were a bit rushed as it got towards the end. That's because originally you had 10 episodes to do all this in, and then that, went by the wayside. They had to film what they could under COVID restrictions. And I'm loving how there were people talking, crap about Jody not loving the show, not doing this for the show, blah, blah, blah. It's like, she had her and the cast and crew had to sequester themselves for nearly a year to get Flux and all that made. Because then they said, look, we'd like you to do the Centennial Anniversary, special. And that's why I still die laughing. If the show was such a die-hard failure, they could have just told Chibs, no, period, that's it. Last episode's going to be, Revolution of the Daleks. Or was it whatever? Yeah, I think it was something like that. Oh, well, sorry, my brain's off in, morning mode. It's in sleep mode. It has yet to awaken. And sometimes when I'm very lucky, it doesn't wake up till about lunchtime. It makes the day go faster. So now, of course, there's going to be the share of people jumping down going, see, they should have destroyed this abomination. Jody should have been burned at the stake. And they're going to be saying all that kind of stuff for a while. It's like, no. And he even talks a bit about, the ratings were actually consistent for, this time of year. Plus, when you look at the ratings across the board for the BBC as a whole, especially in the drama area, everybody took a hit. The only ones who stayed kind of high were reality shows, like, Strictly Come Butt Licking, and stuff like that. So it's, not, it's not anything to do with that. Plus, when you look at how how Doctor Who came up as far as watched programs, it was usually in the top 5 of the most watched programs of the week. Sometimes, actually I can't remember, I lost count. It was the second or first most watched program of the day. And that never changed. The only thing that changed was a lot of people went to streaming. And now, there's a system in place where they can actually add that in. They had to adjust a lot of things in the ratings, things and like that, because originally streaming views and all that were not. Hang on, sorry, I was reading that bit. Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you for reminding me, Mark. Like I said, and Jody, like I said, Mark here, thank you for reminding me of that bit. That's the part that really hit me, and I should have written this down. I like doing these on the fly in the morning, but, Jody was getting multiple offers for multiple jobs. That's one of the reasons they, cut off when they did. Because even around that time, and like I said, yeah, she's such a horrible actress, her phone's ringing off the hook. Or off the table, or whatever modern day phones do, I'd say it's, a lot of kids are gonna go like, why is he talking about phone being on a hook? Is there like a thing for that? Is that an app? No, it's not an app. There was a time, kids, a time not long ago, where your phone had a wire. It went into a wall. Yeah, that's right, Mark. Nobody's reporting this because one of the things the BBC has not learned, and you can tell because they do this a lot to save money. Out of sight, out of mind. I call it the O squared S, O squared M theory. Out of sight, out of mind. Because when you take a show off the air for a year, people are going to think it's canceled. Not everybody in the world sits down, goes online and deliberately searches for the fate of whatever show they're watching at the time. Life moves on too busily and things happen too crazy that you've got other things that you have to focus on, and then you get sidetracked. Like I said, there's programs out there. I had no idea when The Walking Dead took its one break. We kept watching other shows and all that, and I had no idea it had already been back for months. So I had to catch back up on the last season, and because they took one of them stupid, major, several month-long mid-season breaks. And then they wonder why shows like this, eventually start to slide. Consistency is your best friend when you're running a show. You got to have it on at a certain time every year, and you have to keep the pace going. And like I said, a lot of people, of course, were jumping up and down, going on about, well, Jodie's, reign took a major drop after Series 11 and then going into Series 12. That's because they took a year off. The same thing happened to Capaldi when they took a year off. The ratings went right down the toilet for the following season because a lot of people had no idea the show was still on or that it come back. Now, RTD is promising that there's going to be 8 episodes every year, and I'm really hoping he does. Good point, Black Phoenix, the Orville. I really had to sit there, and I follow Seth MacFarlane, Tom Constantino, and some of the other actors and all that for the Orville. And I had to follow them on Twitter and keep my eye out on them and also keep doing searches to find out when the next season of the Orville was going to be on because it kept dragging out and out and out and out. And I'm really hoping there's going to be a Series 4 for the Orville. I don't know if there's going to be because as far as I'm concerned, Seth MacFarlane captured what the Star Trek should be. Oh, by the way, yeah, Starship Dysentery has announced that it's going to end after 5 seasons. And like I said, you know what I say to that? I don't care. I never watched it. It did everything I knew it was going to do. anytime anyone says they're going to put something in a certain time frame, it's guaranteed they're going to touch on the whatever was popular before. Okay, Picard Series 3. Here's my problems with Picard Series 3. And I stated this when the first episode aired, so let's give you a recap of that briefly. Dr. Crusher takes off out of nowhere to go do this and that, cuts off all their friends, to go off on some mission, blah, blah, blah. That sounds like it sounds like right there the opening of the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife. And now, get ready for this, Beverly, pregnant, takes off and doesn't, tell Picard he has a son and doesn't want her, be involved in all that. Hello, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Dr. Carol Marcus, and her son David Marcus. It just, so far, they're reiterating a lot of the same stuff. Plus the fact that you've got a bounty hunter out here who has a ship that could probably take on any of the major powers and win. And that just don't make any damn sense to me. Come on, she's got portal weaponry, photon torpedoes, antimatter missiles. All right, also, here's my guess. And like I said, it's just a guess. The weapon they used to wipe out the Academy Recruitment Center turns out it was just a diversion. And they said it's because they wanted another weapon from the Daystrom Institute. There's only one other weapon I can think of in Star Trek history that they could be going after. And like I said, I'm probably wrong because they've never touched on this again. The Genesis torpedo. Project Genesis. Here's a weapon where you can launch it into a planet and you not only wipe out all life on that planet, but when it's done, it's a beautifully fertile colony for you to move your colonies onto. It terraforms the planet. So that's just a theory. I know that maybe that's something they're going to touch on because it hasn't been touched on since Star Trek 3. So keep an eye on it. I doubt it's true, but it's just a theory that they went after the plans for the Genesis project, Genesis torpedo. Okay, so once again, Chibs basically saved Doctor Who because if they had taken a year off at that point with COVID going on and all that, I don't, like I said, they would have taken another, major ratings drop. And like I said, go look for yourself. Look for when, Capaldi took that year off, they came back and there was a ratings drop. Whitaker and them took a break after Series 11, a year break, and then ratings dropped. But once again, though, they were still, over time, in the top 5, sometimes top 3, or even most watched show of the day consistently. So take care, everyone. Have a great morning. This is Friday. I'm sure a lot of you are going to be happy, but so far from what I know, we're working Saturday. If that changes, I'll leave an announcement on the community page. So until further notice, we're going to be out here in the parking lot tomorrow morning. So you'll get a bonus round if I don't get an announcement here by the end of the day that they're canceling Saturday. So take care, everyone. See you all in the future. Be kind, be calm, be safe, and we'll hopefully catch you all on the flip side. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your day, and I can't say that enough. Happy Friday.